your champion of the 2024 Link Engine Management Pro Spec Championship, TLO, Tommy Lemaire! There you go, baby.
Hello, what's up, everybody? We are now live. All right,
Hey,
guys.
how you doing?
Hey, there's local cereal. Way to get this awkward intro started. I was just trying something new, and then it messed me up. So we're all good, though. We have started the live stream. We already got people rolling in. It's good to see everyone here. Big guest today, big old TLO. Excited to have you here. But obviously, we have to do a big shout out to the old man here, turning the big 3-0, Herbie. How are you doing, sir?
Happy birthday and welcome.
I feel like I lost all my hair overnight.
Oh, I can see.
Crazy.
I think I can see a little gray coming in. Okay, let's just be honest here.
Yeah, now I turned 30 on Saturday, so that's what's up.
Happy early birthday.
It's all downhill from here, baby. Let's go.
I haven't. Well, I don't think I've hit the uphill yet, so it can't go downhill. So, jokes on everybody else.
Actually, to be fair though, I really loved my 30s like way better than my 20s, so it's uphill. I promise.
There you go.
Or you can punch me.
Yeah, Kegel's girlfriend's like, yeah, you're like the freshman now.
Yeah.
You were like the senior, you know, like everybody's like, wow, why are you sucking so bad? Now you're like the freshman again.
Yep.
Again, thank you, Sara, for always for being here. But obviously, our big guest here is Tommy Lemaire, coming to us here from the 51st state of the United States and Canada.
Nice one. Nice one.
Just kidding. You guys are going through some stuff though over there. I can say that, but this is not the show for that. But again, it's always good to have a fellow Canadian reaching out here. And it's good that you guys found some internet up there. It's good that you have you still have all that stuff. But again, Tilo, thank you for coming on. A lot has happened with you in just recently in like the last couple of years of your driving, but I want to go back to actually how you first got into Pro Spec. So for those that don't know, Canada has their own drift series. It's off and on, right? If it hasn't been every year, and it's called DMCC, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. I first heard about it because I do media every once in a while for if you know him, Jonathan Nairn, and he would go up there and run that series and usually do pretty well. Him and it was Tyler Nelson was his teammate at the time.
Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah, so that's where I heard about the series originally. But you want to quick explain people what is DMCC, because that's kind of like where I feel like you came from.
Yeah. Obviously, the MCC is my roots here in Canada. That's the only. Well, I will talk for Canada East, because I know there's the series, another big series affiliated with Formula Drift out west, but I've never been part of it. I know Brody Gobble.
Okay, quick question. How long does it take you to drive from your part of Canada over to like general west part of Canada?
Long.
Like too long. Like minimum 35 hours.
What?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like
I mean, it makes sense.
From Jersey to Cali, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's basically the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, but the MCC started, I think it was in 2004. And the fun fact is that like last year I won the well, I will say now 2 years ago, because we're in 2025.
Exactly.
But like in 2023, I won the championship, and they gave me the big trophy that you get for 1 year with your name on it, and after that you bring it back to the series. and the next winner gets the trophy for another year.
Oh,
So
wow.
everybody has their name on the trophy.
Like
And
the
it's
Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It is a big, heavy trophy. It weighs maybe like 85 pounds
What?
for just a trophy. And I was surprised to see that I think it's in 2004 or maybe 2005 that Ryan Turk won the DMCC
Wow.
championship. Yeah, before he went in Formula Drift. So
Damn.
That's
so
crazy.
it goes back a long way. But yeah, the MCC is a drift. I think it's Drift Mania, um, whatever drifting championship.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's basically the Canadian championship for us, and all the drivers wants to participate in the DMCC Pro and try to win it for a long time. We have people that have been driving in DMCC for more than like 12 years. So it's a good series,
Yeah,
and this is where I really I was able to just grow as a drifter, because I obviously had a little bit of experience before in the karting and road racing.
Right.
But when I started drifting, all the big guys were in the MCC. I remember Dave Briggs. We had Naren. We had Riley Sexsmith.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So those are the, let's say, the OG of the Canadian drifting. We have Kevin Morin, which is still competing here in Quebec. So all those guys were my my target, let's say.
Right.
But yeah, in 2021, no, 2020, we had the Maple Leaf Shootout, which was organized by Josiah with FDF, and this is when I got my Formula Drift license.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I know Naren actually was able to petition into Formula Drift because of his championships in DMCC, I believe. I think that's how he got in. But it's a pretty serious series up there, though, right? Would you put it above your? I don't know if you've ever actually driven a Pro-Am in America, but would you put it similar to that, or would you put a higher level than like a Pro-Am, you think?
I would put it higher than Pro-Am for sure, but not as high as a Prospect. That's
Gotcha.
for sure. But the thing is, we also have less people in Quebec. We have probably like 20, from 20 to 25 pro drivers, where in the US you have like twice as much as that. But yeah, people are really pushing hard to be as fast as possible, and that's maybe why I always trying to be as fast as possible. And we also always make the judgment from the judging in the Formula Drift. So when I switched to Pro Spec, it was not big of a difference, because every year the judging in Quebec, they are trying to follow what the judges in Formula Drift ask for.
Gotcha. So it's like directly a stepping stone into FD then.
Yeah, exactly.
Are there tire rules? Or like what are the the car rules kind of for the Pro Series?
Yeah, so everybody has to run 265.
Okay.
A couple of years ago, I had a very good sponsorship with the tires, so we were all able to run any brand of tires we wanted. So I was sponsored by Continental Tires for 1 year. And after that, I was sponsored by General Tire for 4 years.
Wow.
And when I switched for Pro Spec for Formula Drift, that's when we stopped the partnership, because I wasn't able to run it. But nowadays, last year and the year in 2023, we they like put the kind of Pro Spec regulation. So now everybody has to run one specific brand, with the same size tires. So everybody's like on the same level for tires. And I would say the cars are all between 700 to 900 horsepower.
Wow. Yeah. So a no joke of his series, and I like the 265 tire size though. I think that's a professional level tire. You're going fast, but obviously it kind of keeps the cars in line a little bit at least.
Yeah, exactly. I think the 255 was a little bit too small for especially for like Formula Drift Pro spec, because
Yeah.
we all show up with like 900 horsepower car. But
Yeah. Well, I think it creates an interesting challenge though when you come into a series like that, because you have to learn to do wheel speed. You can't just go in and make all the wheel speed you want, because you're going to burn your tires off in one lap. You have to make sure your gearing is correct. You have to make sure that you have the correct amount of grip in the car, and sometimes, like I know, talk to some of the drivers. Some of the drivers literally have to modulate throttle just to make sure they got tires for the next run. So it's like I feel like it teaches you a lot about driving and driving. I don't know about responsibly is the correct word, but like strategically, I guess is a better word.
yeah, exactly.
And it is a big thing in pro spec that, I mean, and not gonna lie, I feel like pro just has much of his challenge, it seems like, to keep tread on their tires as it is too. So it's like, it seems like it's always a struggle, but yeah, you're right. 255 is pretty small for all the cars that are built so highly, in pro spec.
Yeah, it reminds me like back in 2021, my first year in pro spec at Irwindale, we were not able to do like more than a lap with the set of tire.
Wow.
So, and I'm not the like on this side. I'm a bit more like, let's say, Chelstenhofa. I'm not the kind of guy that's gonna like throttle down. Try to keep it easy on the gas, because this is. I don't like it. I just don't like it.
You just
we know you're
put
not
more
easy
grip
on the
in.
gas.
So what you do is you just put more grip into the car and go faster.
Yeah, exactly. So this, and also we changed the gear, and that's where I fucked up a lot, because we put such a small gear to reduce the wheel spin to be able to do 2 laps. That when we started, it was against the donut.
Adam Napick.
Yeah, Adam Napick, exactly. So I was so fast and not enough wheel speed that when I was in chase, I couldn't like keep up, and I wasn't able to just keep my car drifting, because I needed the momentum to be able to keep my car drifting. And when it was slower than me, I was just like I missed a lot. So that's when I learned that sometimes gearing is not the only like a solution.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. I I mean, you're right, because like one of the fixes for tire wear is just to go faster and finish the course faster. But again, when you're chasing, you're limited by the car in front of you, so that's not always the solution.
Yeah.
But you came onto the scene pretty hot. You did, I believe, 2 seasons, if I remember correctly, of Pro 2 first. Or was it one season, or Pro Spec? Was it?
Pro Spec. When I started Pro Spec, Pro 2 was already over.
Okay.
So I did my first year was the first year of Pro Spec.
And then you took a break after that?
Yeah, exactly. I did 2021, 2022 with M Spec from Oklahoma, and after that I took a break 2023, and I came back in 2024 with a better car, better setup, and all by myself.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of dudes, sorry to interrupt you, I think a lot of guys are afraid to take a season off. How do you think that season off ended up for the year after that? How do you think you were set up for that next year?
Well, it was it was a year off, but not that off.
Yeah, okay.
I still did like 7 competition. It was 5 competition in DMCC, which I won the championship. I did a couple of, I think I did 2 gamblers, and 2 LZ World Tour. So that's
busy year still.
Yeah,
so not a year off, just a year break from Formula Drift, and it seems like it didn't affect you much. If anything, I think you came back better than ever in the next season. So, other series, just competing, just getting that seat time, you can still be competitive in the FD, which I think is a great example for everybody else.
Yeah, because like I don't want to like look bad for Formula Drift, but let's be honest, like taking a year off and doing maybe like 8 or 9 events competition was like twice as cheap than doing 4 rounds of prospect.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like a break for my budget, you know. So it gave me time to rebuild my car. It gave me time to shape my teammates and my crew. Let's say my
Some more
program.
seat time and everything.
Yeah, more
Just
Right.
time
more
and
of everything, just a lot cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's a bit crazy to say that I'm gonna do 8 rounds this year of Formula Drift, but I'll sometimes you have to fake it until you make it.
So, do you feel prepared for pro next season, or will
Uh,
you be at Long
I
Beach?
I am doing like everything to be prepared. Like everything. I am putting everything on the line, especially with a new car. And I know what everybody thinks. Everybody thinks I'm crazy for doing that, but I think that's good because everybody has an opinion on myself, which is good for attention, for sponsorship, for a relationship, and. Yeah, I'm gonna do like I can tell you, I'm gonna do the 8 rounds. That's for sure. Because
Heck yeah.
once I commit, I'm not backing up.
Love that.
Awesome.
Can you
Beast.
tell us a bit about the new car setup?
Yeah, he's sticking to the S chassis.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's not heartbreaker over here.
Yeah. So the initial plan was to keep the S14 as one piece and develop the Corvette. And in case the Corvette is not like 100% ready or stuff like this,
You're
I
doing
wanted
C7
to.
stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
wanted to bring back the S chassis, but the truth of it is that to build a brand new chassis, it's more than the 200 grand
Yep.
uh, just to build the car. So once I started building the C7, well, I was I was a bit like stopped there for the budget. So I decided like I didn't even tell my team. I only told my best friend Francis, my spotter. I was like, dude, we need to sell the car now. so so we made a description of the car and everything, put it on the like Facebook group,
Yeah.
and like 28 hours later, the car was sold.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
It-
right. Mata wanted to buy it really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry to all the people that written to me because I received probably like let's say 80 message just for people interested to buy the car. But I'm really happy with the guy who bought it in
Yeah.
Florida. He's a super cool guy, and he's already probably have more seat time in the car than my whole last season. So,
Wow. That's
so
cool.
that's good.
Hey,
That's
I mean,
great.
I mean, that's an easy way. I feel like that's an easy way, but a risky way to fund the program. But, talk to me on the decision behind the C7 because obviously you've heard the people talk about how crazy they think you are. But my question is, why do you think more people haven't done C7s?
I think people are afraid of aluminum chassis
Okay.
because the car is like all aluminum, no
Right.
steel.
Yep.
So I think that is
Aren't
a
Z06 C6 Z06s are also all aluminum?
yeah.
Okay.
But that's why Matt Field changes Z06 to like a standard
Yeah,
steel
base
one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, based one when he swapped it because he didn't really like, let's say, the aluminum. That's my guess, but he did the change. And you mentioned Josiah earlier,
Yep.
and Josiah was one of the first guy to trying to convince me not to go with the C7. It was like I already developed everything for the C6. Just go with the C6.
Right.
You'll have all the parts that I developed for your car is gonna be just
Right.
have fun.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Easy peasy, just like Jonathan Hurst did with the XLR. It's
Yep.
all the C6
Yeah.
parts
Mhm.
on the car. But for me, I really need to be different. I need to be unique, and this is my big deal breaker for my car choice.
Yep.
And I also really like the look of the C7. and I don't think
I agree with you there.
the C7 that we've seen on the Formula Drift platform really showed us what the platform can do,
Right.
and I want to take over. And
Yeah.
Let's
and
go.
it's good because this year I'm gonna be. I thought I was gonna be the second C7, but it's going back to I'm gonna be the only C7
Right.
because Joel is going to prospect.
Correct.
So just that for me is really important. I'm gonna be the only Canadian in the Pro Series. I'm
Yep.
gonna be the only C7 in the Pro Series. So all those things, I think it's one of the thing that's gonna help me to uh, stay in the game for
Mhm.
as long as possible. Not just come for 1 year, put all my budget in 1 year and
Right.
finish. I know I'm not gonna win the championship.
Right.
This is normal. But let's say if I finished 11 position with a C7
Mhm.
first year with this car, first time we see this, or I finish 11 with a S chassis that everybody has.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be more impactful if I finish 11 with the C7.
Right.
So
Yep.
that's really my point with this car.
Mhm.
And with something that nobody developed yet, I think I had the opportunity to develop more parts with more partners, more companies.
Mhm.
Yep.
So everything related to angle kit, grip kit, transmission support, stuff like this, we developed it with Josiah at
Yep.
FDF. We worked really, really closely together to develop this. We are working with BC Racing to develop a C7 suspension. So
Yep.
all those things, they are things that I maybe wouldn't have the opportunity to
Opportunity.
do
Yep.
with the chassis because like big guys like Odie already did this a long
Mhm.
time ago.
Right.
So I think this is where my door is to try to be sustainable in the sport because I really don't want to be there just for 1 or 2 year. I really want to be there for as long as possible.
Right. Well,
Oh yeah,
so there's
man.
a bunch of points to hit there, but I was
Mhm.
just to keep on the say C7 topic. You said obviously just I helped you develop suspension for it. I'm curious, and it might be a better question for him. Is the suspension massively different from a C6 to a C7, or is it a lot of similar parts that you can use?
So there's more than half of the parts that are similar,
Mm-hmm.
but every little things needs a tweak up, needs to be
Okay.
changed
Mhm.
for the C7. And we didn't try the car yet, and we already putting like the V2 kit on the car,
Wow.
because we received the first kit, we tried this test fitting,
Right.
and we are really proactive with this. So obviously it is not like the C6, but the basic geometry is pretty similar, let's say.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So another thing, obviously, you said the C7 it gives you an opportunity to work with more companies because there's not much out there for it. I'm just kind of curious. Also, talking to companies, have you noticed a difference in companies' interest? The fact that you're driving Pro One instead of Pro Spec, or like, is that also another thing that's kind of like piqued companies' interest more now that you're doing that instead of a Pro Spec series?
Yeah. So for parts, I think this it's a big difference. So every company that I want to partner up with, they are more willing to give parts. But I think for financial support, it's still really hard.
Okay.
I have more financial supports than the previous year,
Yeah.
obviously because the budget is going to be more than double.
Right.
But I think at the end, it's really how you shaped your program. Even
Mm-hmm.
if you're in pro spec or in pro, if you don't have a good program around yourself, the companies are going to see it and they're not going to like it. So
Yeah.
this off season, I really work on my program and how I'm approaching the companies and what I have to offer them, So
Mm-hmm.
that's also why I chose a C7, because it's easier to approach them with a different card and something that stands out from the others.
Right.
But yeah, I really think people needs to work more on their program because even like you know it. Some people finish 10th, but they have more sponsorship than the one who finished 4th. You know,
Right.
because they have a really good program around them. So that's
Yep.
what I'm really trying to develop right now.
100%. No, you make a
Nice.
great point. I mean, there's so many different elements to a program too. Whether it's the social media, whether it's the booth presence, whether it's just your general marketing via your social media too. Because like you can have a big social media, but if you don't market the products well, then that also hurts. So it's like there's so many different elements to it, and like you said, working on your program is almost as important as working on the car. So obviously now I want to quick hit some prospect stuff though, just while you were in the series, because you kind of, I feel like you took this series by storm when you first came in, and then obviously you took the break and then really put your foot forward that last year. But when you're driving prospect and you only have 4 rounds, what's the mental side of it for you? Because the fact is that if you mess up 1 round, that's your whole season, right?
Yep.
So like how do you mentally like either block it out, or like how do you handle that kind of pressure? Because it is a ton of pressure.
Yeah, it is. So I will go back to when I was really little.
Right.
I started a competition in karting. I was 7 years old. So I think this is one of the big difference. For the people that knows me, they know that I have a good background in karting. People that don't know me, sometimes they are like, "Oh, why are you like managing your stress that well?" Well, that's why, because I learned with the best drivers in karting. I was like very very young, so I managed to. That's good.
Sorry. He's causing trouble.
Big B.
Yeah, but yeah, so I managed to deal with my stress very very early. So when I jump into drifting, I noticed that like all my competitors in pro am, they were really struggling at the like top 4 and final, because this is where you have more pressure on yourself. And so moving forward, going into a prospect, I think the biggest like stress issues is how the car will react to the competition. Is it going to be reliable, or is it going to break? But for my mental side, I think as long as the car is running, I'm not really stressed. I need my spotter actually to hype me up, because sometimes I fall asleep in my car while I'm waiting. So so that's
Nice and
Wow.
cozy, the little rumble and the heat. Yeah.
yeah, exact. So sometimes with all the heat, it's so hot that like, and the fact that I am not really not stressed, sometimes I just like fell asleep. So I need my spotter to sometimes just like hype me up, say some stuff to make me laugh, because I'm like, oh guys, I'm starting to, I want to take a nap. So so I think that's gonna help me in pro, and especially since it's my first year, I really don't put pressure on myself. I just want the car to be reliable, and that's why right now we work like a ton on the new car. Every day of the weeks, even the weekend, we work on the car to make sure it's ready, reliable, and all the spare parts are there for the season. But yeah, sorry, I'm going
No,
all
you're
over the
good.
place.
Okay.
But
No.
to go back to prospect, I think that this is what helped me this year, because I didn't want it to win the first round. Even if we did, I just wanted to be consistent all year, because I knew that if I'm consistent, I can do it. And this is what we did. Even with a couple of mechanical issues, we managed to do it. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
Did
Well,
you always plan to go up to pro after this season, or did your performance in this season in prospect like influence that?
So everything depends on my result.
Okay. All right.
so so I really have the mentality that if you win at a level and there's a higher level, you don't stay there. No disrespect to Dimitri, I love him. But I think if you win Pro Spec once, you need to move on. If you don't have the budget to move on, you find the budget. You know, I said it.
Okay.
Take it until you make it. That's
Yeah.
what I did. And I really told myself, if I don't win the championship, if Corner would have won the championship in Utah the last round, I wouldn't have jumped pro. That's for sure.
Wow.
Because I
Okay.
needed to win the championship. I needed to prove to myself that I can do it, and I needed to prove to like everybody else that I can do it. Now I did it, and now I go to the next step. That's for sure. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, the reason I asked about the whole like preparation question was because I was doing a little scrolling on your timeline, and I saw that you take ice baths. Is there a reason for that, or is that just because that's what just Canadians do all the time, and instead of taking random baths, you guys just stay on
That's
ice?
just a bath. What do you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so actually there's a hole in the river. I live by the river, so I do a hole with the chainsaw. I go in the river. That's awesome. I love it. But the whole reason behind this, well, obviously you guys know the benefits of ice bath. I don't want to sell the ice baths here, but
Right.
I was
for
athletes
me-
once upon a time, you know.
Yeah. But I discovered that like I find myself really working on my breath, my when you breath working, let's say.
Yeah.
When you are in the car, sometimes you forget to breathe because it's so hot, and when you don't breathe, normally you're not really focused. When you're not focused, well, you do mistakes. So
Yep.
to be as consistent as possible, I found that working on my mental side, because I don't have the opportunity to be on the racetrack every weekend, because like obviously that's the number one thing you should do, be at the racetrack every weekend, a bit like Connor O'Sully is doing right now. I'm like, that's crazy. He's always on the track, but good for him. I really think it's a good thing for him to do that. But for myself, I don't have this chance. But I have ice, so I do ice baths, and I put myself in very extreme situations, which allows me to work on my mental and work on my breathing. So when I go in the car, I think it's really helping me to be more calm and more focused. And also, I said it's so hot in the car. So if you put your body into like super cold temperature right before you go in the car, you go in the car and you feel refreshed. You don't want to fall asleep, and you stay focused. So that's the whole thing behind this.
Nice.
I'm gonna step that there because I don't want everybody to have ice bath.
I don't know if anybody's tough enough. Those are intense.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, no, it's
I
true
think,
though.
I think Field's done it. I think Field has done a couple before.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, he's a
done it in
healthy
the
guy.
past.
Yeah, he's
But-
another healthy man.
But yeah, I mean, whenever the local gas station runs out of ice, we know who did it. So
That's all right. Listen, I'll just drink around it. I'm not gonna get ice.
Herbie will be there for moral support only.
Yeah, exactly.
No. But I mean, it was one of those things where I was like, oh, so were you ever an athlete? Like, are your parents disappointed like you're not in the NHL or something? Like, is that like? I thought that was just every Canadian's goal, is
Yeah. When I was at school, it was all my friends' dream, and I was the only one who wanted to be a race car driver.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I never did hockey, because even when I was younger, I did a little bit of soccer, playing, and it's so funny. I'm gonna take like 5 minutes to talk about this, because like this room behind is gonna be my next sim room. But before that, it was like a room that you put all your stuff for so many years, and you forget it. So I had to clean this room, So when I put everything in the garbage, or I like clean the room, I found like a paper.
Yeah.
It said like karting season 2009.
Ooh.
And so at this time I was like probably 10 years old, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I open it and I see all my practice day with all the like the temperature, the air pressure I had in my tires, the gearing I had, my best time of the day I had,
Wow.
all the stats from each practice day. And I was going to the karting track 3 times a week, so there was like a lot of page, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And once in a while, it was like the big page because I was 10 years old, obviously. So
Mm-hmm.
the big page was like racing at this track this weekend, and like, so I turned the page and I see at one point a big X, and
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, soccer practice, no karting today. Soccer practice, no karting today. And I was like, damn, like
Right.
I was almost sad to like
Yeah.
go soccer playing.
Well,
So I had to stop every other sports really young
yeah.
because I wanted to focus on
Mhm.
karting. But yeah, I
Right.
always have been quite athletic on
Mhm.
every aspect of everything I do. So that's
Right.
why I do backflip also
Right.
from the
Yeah.
top of my car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that
Big
Uh,
backflip guy.
So, how did you make the jump from karting to drifting? Did you do any other motorsports in between?
Yeah, I did a little bit of jump car, which is endurance races, 7 hours, 14 hours races with
Wow.
other drivers. That
Mhm.
was really good for seat time. But the thing is, like, my dream was to go in Formula One.
Hmm.
But I realized really early, at an early age, that like if my parents are not extremely rich, I won't make it, you know.
Mhm.
So obviously, I realized that like 13, 14 years old that I needed to find something else. So at 14 years old, I was that high. So
Mhm.
my height right now,
Yeah.
right, I was too high. I think I was too high for karting. You know, because in karting, it's all about aerodynamic. So
Mhm.
if you're too tall, you're not like in your best shape, let's say. So
Yeah.
I
You're too
switched for
slow.
cars. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I already had like good experience. I won the
Mhm.
Canadian Championship twice. Went to the World Final
Mhm.
a couple of times. So that was like a good deal for me.
Mhm.
So when I switched for cars, I realized that I needed something that I can approach sponsorship because my parents were not rich,
Mhm.
and it was impossible to go in Formula. You know, in Formula Four,
Mhm.
because Formula Four is like it was like $100,000 you have to put on the table at the first season just to sign with a team.
Yep.
So this is not something we had back then. So I was working at the racetrack at iCar where we had the LC World Tour this year
Mhm.
as an instructor. So that's fun fact. I was like at this time I was 15 years old and I was instructing on the track,
Yeah.
passenger seats, you know, people
Mhm.
to do racing, but
Yep.
I didn't have my driver license yet. So so when I was done working, it was always the drift nights. So I discovered drifting with the drift nights that we
Mhm.
had over there, and I was like, that's what I need to do because this is impressive. Like everybody was just screaming, everybody was so hyped to see drifting,
Yep.
and I was hyped to see drifting. So I
Mm.
took my 300 ZX back in the days.
Yep.
It was swapped with a VQ35 from the 350Z
Yep.
for lagging. So I put back like the 16-inch wheels, the stock wheels in the rear,
Yep.
and I just sent it, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is done deal. This is what I'm gonna do from now on. So I went to my local shop, which is a Concept Motorsport, Mike Reich, who is actually doing my C7. So
Wow.
we are really close together. He
Mhm.
is also my crew chief.
Yep.
So he sees my 300 ZX and he's like, that's no good for drifting. You need to sell that if you want to keep drifting. So I
Yep.
sold the car. I bought a 350Z with a V8,
Okay.
but street car. So I go at the shop. I'm like, hey Mike, this is gonna be my car, and he's like, dude, there's no roll cage, there's no fuel cell. You need to
Mhm.
put like $30,000 in development in this car. I'm like, damn it. So I put the car for sale. I had the car for 2 weeks. I put the car for sale. I set it back, and I find a S13 with a V8 already caged for the MCC
Mhm.
already. So that's how I started drifting.
Wow. That's crazy. You know, and you stuck with the S chassis for a long time.
Yeah. Once you try it, normally you stay stuck with that for a long time. Yeah.
Agreed.
Exactly.
Have you had a lot of practice in the Corvette chassis yet? Or you're just super confident and you're gonna wing it?
No, so I actually tried to play it smart here. I bought a salvage Corvette at the beginning of the season that is like all rolling already. Basically, there was like that much water in the car, so they put it like for salvage. So I brought it back to Quebec. We put a angle kit on it with FDF, put a suspension, handbrake, and that's pretty much it. So at the end of the season, Magnuson supercharger, they send me a supercharger to put on the car. So we add this to the car to have more power, but basically everything else is stuck. So I had, let's say, maybe 10 drift days of
Wow.
practice with the car.
I saw you at Lime Rock with it, right? You did the grid light, yeah. You
Yeah.
were doing that thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that's just a stock unit out there.
Yeah, it was,
Letting
it was really stuck. Like, and I was making 388 wheel horsepower to wheel. Yeah.
Linking the front course, obviously, like to get through the straight, it's like that's Forza shit. We're not doing that. Yeah.
And I wanted to go so fast. I was like, dude, this track is so awesome. So I was like, I really want to go over 200 kilometers before I initiate. So for you guys, it's probably
120.
130, 120. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really
Still
wanted.
insane.
Yeah. No.
I wanted to hit that spot. So I worked like every session. I was trying like to keep my momentum out of corner 5. So when I enter 6 and 7, I think the big
the big.
So at the end I was able to do like 215 kilometers.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
It was so fast. Like on the GoPro, it's just awesome. So yeah, I try to like use the maximum out of this car even when it's stuck. So I think it prepared me good for the new chassis, but obviously like this car weighs 3,600 pounds,
Right.
which is like a tank, and my competition car is gonna be like 2,900 pounds. So obviously it's gonna be different. But
Yeah, no,
That's
it's
all right. I think you're gonna do fine, dude.
Yeah.
I really do.
yeah.
I appreciate that.
Can you at least tell me that you aren't completely insane, or at least putting an LS in it and not an LT, right?
No, so actually we went with a 2JZ. No, I'm kidding.
He's messing with you. Good one. You almost had me.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
So we're going with the LS engine, RHS 427 with the big Magnuson on it. I think the Magnuson, the 2650 is gonna be the parts that don't allow my engine to make like the power I want to make, because this engine is built like to make 1500 horsepower. It's just a crazy engine. It's a big like blower engine,
right?
But the Magnuson supercharger, the biggest one they do is 2650. So I think this is where I'm gonna be limited. But I'm aiming for 1,000 to the wheel, so it's not that crazy, because I'm trying to keep the car as light as possible. And we didn't put it on the scale yet, but everything we put on the scale is so light that I think the car is gonna be too light. So we're gonna have to add some weight so we can run the 295 tires.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Gotcha.
That's sweet. We do have a couple questions in the chat, so I'd like to quick grab some of those. But again, thank you everyone for hanging out in the chat. We got Phil. Great to see you, Phil. He's like, C7 definitely looks better. Hopefully you can do all the development on it so I can get one next. So shout out to Phil, fellow Corvette driver. Mellow RTR asks, who are you most excited to battle in the upcoming season?
Man, this is the biggest series in the world. So like I'm excited to battle everybody on the grid. Like it's just crazy. But I think like when I'm gonna go against the like top 5 drivers, the veteran, I'm just not gonna believe it until the next morning. It's just gonna be like, what the hell? Am I battling like James Dean? Am I
Right.
battling like Asbo? What
Right.
is that real? So I really don't have much expectation like to beat them, but
Right.
I know for a fact that everything can happen in racing, and I'm gonna do my 100% to make the impossible happen. But like for a driver that I want to let's say beat, he's a good friend of mine, and I think we developed a good relationship this year. That will be Connor O'Sully because
Yep.
I knew you were gonna say that.
yeah, because like he is the rookie, I am the rookie. I know there is like Jack Shanahan, but like
Yeah, he's not that
Different.
good. It's
That's
okay.
different. Yeah, we're
So-
not.
yeah,
Luke
Not
Fink,
right.
yeah,
Is there a
who's
little-
that? Like nobody. You don't
yeah,
know
like
about
man,
him.
like why did you choose this year to come here, man?
Is there a
But-
bit of a rivalry there between you two guys? A little battle for Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, I think so. But the thing is, like, I think Jack Shanahan is also going to be in the battle for Rookie of the Year,
For
Oh,
sure,
yeah.
which is
yeah.
a bit
Yeah,
special.
and
But
Luke Fink as well.
yeah, exactly. There's other drivers too, but I think it's because like Connor and myself, we are quite the same age. Well, he's a bit older than me, but doesn't really mind. And we are FDF teammates, so I think it's a good rivalry. It's a good relationship we have, and he's a super cool guy. So
Right.
there's no hate, there's no
Yeah,
uh,
friendly rivalry.
yeah, really friendly, and I think he's aiming for like being really performant, and I'm going for the same. So he's gonna be my let's say my target that I want to follow or beat him. But like obviously, once I'm on
Right.
track, everybody is the same for sure.
Yeah, I was literally going to ask the question: is there a guy that you want to like beat next year? And I assume it's going to be him.
Yeah.
Austin Mata comments. He's like, "I'm coming for you, Tommy."
Oh, we forgot about Austin.
I'm so happy that he's coming, man. That's so cool that he's jumping.
Yeah.
He's also such a nice heart guy. Like in Utah, I was well. I at this point I won the championship, so I knew I was going to go in pro. But at this point, I thought maybe I was going to do just 4 rounds. And he is one of the good friends that just hyped me up. He told me like, dude, you can't just do 4 rounds. You need to do 8 rounds.
Yeah.
And from this event to today, like the difference is just crazy. I am so more confident, and I am so more like focused on the goal to do 8 rounds and just be as fast as I can and be like the driver that I'm going with, even if it's the 4-time Formula Drift champion.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's gonna be exciting.
100%. Brandon Gardner, what's up, Brandon? He asked, what tires are you running next year, if you are allowed to tell us? I
I think
don't
he
know.
means what brand are you partnering
Yeah,
with?
exactly.
'Cause you
That-
said a 295 already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
So yeah, I'm going for 295s, but I cannot tell you guys yet.
exactly.
But I did some testing in New Jersey with them, and it went really well. Like,
Yay.
Okay.
that was crazy actually. Like, I went there and I thought that it was gonna be hot and warm weather.
Right.
I show up there and I see Chris Knapp, and I'm like, dude, what is that, man? It's like -6. So for you, it's
Wow.
like, I don't know, 30
Yeah, it's
Fahrenheit.
around 30 degrees.
Yeah,
25.
I'm like, dude, it's way more cold than I thought it was gonna be. So
Yeah.
I'm like, the tires are not gonna grip here. At this point, I should have stayed in Montreal and just
Right.
like drift on the snow.
Great
But-
point. It's so
Yeah.
weird how it's that area or the Northeast that we're in, especially that track, can be super cold, but also like how hot was it this summer? Like we
Yeah.
talked about it last time. It was
Yeah.
unreal.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I was like amazed by how fast the car was with the 295s, and I am really excited to be able to tell
That's cool.
you guys more about it.
That's
We'll have to
awesome.
keep an eye out on your social media, and anybody that's watching, highly suggest following him. Do you want to do a quick shout out of your pages so they can keep an eye on your progress for next year or this year?
Yeah. So my Instagram is Tommy.Lemaire, and on Facebook is just Tommy Lemaire. But I'm posting really more on Instagram. That's
Cool.
where I'm putting the build, how it's going right now, because we are in the big sprint since like early December,
Yeah.
actually, just to build the car and making everything happen. And we are leaving with the car for Florida. We're gonna drift at the Drift HQ with those guys.
Yep.
We're gonna have some fun over there for 2 weeks. February, mid February. So I'm gonna go there to test the new car and make myself as comfortable as possible and test the big tires too.
It'll be
That's
warmer down there. Thank
It,
goodness.
it will, yeah, it will. I hope so, because it's 24 hours drive. So
Woo.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I saw obviously you posted it. You put the link stuff in there. It looked real good.
yeah.
You got a big old 10-inch dash in there. I mean, you're making it nice and fancy. You're not really sparing any expenses here, bud.
That's crazy, man. I talked to my Sam Mayville
Yeah.
at MLR Garage, who does my wiring, and I'm like, okay, I want a screen that is a bit less tall but wider, because
Yeah.
the one I had last year was a bit tall, and he's like, yeah, you need this one. So we ordered this. I received this. I opened the box and I'm like, dude, that's an iPad. That's so big. Like we had to cut in the carbon dash
Oh,
so
wow.
much just so it can fit. But yeah, it looks awesome. It looks really
That's
cool.
great. I'm excited to see it when it's done.
Yeah, you just see Tommy in there playing some games while he's in line and on
Yeah,
it.
it's
You
gonna
know?
have
Just-
like the Tesla thing where you turn the wheel and everything to play the.
Oh yeah.
No, that's amazing.
So, how does the Corvette compare to the S chassis then? Like, as someone who's objective, which one was your favorite? Like, does the S chassis still have your heart, or are you Team Corvette now?
Oh, I gotta say I'm Team Corvette now. Yeah. So I am really not attached to material. Obviously, we put,
Okay.
well, I see it in your screen, like we put the cars in the wall so often. We put everything on these cars. We put all our money, but I cannot see it as emotional. Because it wouldn't work obviously. So like selling my chassis, I really didn't feel sad about it. I was just like, all right, that's just a next step for me and a
Mhm.
step forward. So now I sold every chassis parts I have. I only have Corvette stuff now, and
Yeah.
I'm really 100% committed in that. And I really, I honestly think that the Corvette can be faster and can be more performant. I just think that people didn't put time and effort in it, and we can see it with the C6. Mansfield did an awesome job with the C6. He's really fast, and I'm sure he's gonna tell you the same, that like he didn't regret to going from S14
Yeah.
to Corvette.
Yeah, but
So
you need to call him out for skipping out on a C7. He already made the jump
Yeah.
to CA. Like,
Yeah,
no love for
exactly.
C7, bud. Come on now.
I think he wants to leave some space for me, man. That's good.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, all right, I like that.
So one of the biggest thing we had to change in the C7 was the geometry for the front direction, because it's not really optimal when it's our OEM. So we put a BMW E46 steering rack in the front, adapted with FDF angle kit, and I think, well, I didn't try it yet, but I'm pretty sure this is gonna fix the small issues we had with with my practice car. My
Right.
practice car doesn't have a lot of angle at the moment, but it's still manageable. And the thing is, it makes the car really sensitive, even though the wheelbase is like 106-inch, which is like 7-inch. I think 7-inch, longer than the S14. It still feels like it's a shorter wheelbase. It's so sensitive. So every correction you make with
Snappy.
the steering wheel, it's really snappy. It's right there. So people see that it looks like you struggle with your car on track. So that's why I think when we made the change with the steering rack, I think it's gonna fix this, and the car is still gonna be really quick for transition. So
Well,
I believe that is my driving style.
well, that was it's always been the issue with the Corvettes is the blowers as well. Keeping belts on blowers because you can't run large belts, and that was the whole idea behind Josiah's new rack setup, basically in the front, so that you could run a bigger belt in the front. We talked quite a bit with Dirk Stratton actually about because he had the old version of the FDF kit, and he when he ran in Formula Drift, he tried to run a big Magnuson blower, but he kept throwing belts because he couldn't put a big belt on it because of the space issue.
Yeah, so we did fix that, and this is more Mike Reich at Concept Motorsport, my crew chief. He is actually making all the fab on the car because I'm a good driver, I'm a good mechanic, but I'm really not a fab or a welder guy.
Right.
So he made the engine fits possible with two ribs setup, and the supercharger pulley setups. It is a 10 rib, so it is like the biggest we can have right now. So we had to notch a little bit in the subframe. So the big pulley, it is like a 24% overdrive pulley. It's huge. It's like a big pizza.
Yeah.
But we made it fit with the front subframe, and everything works well up to now. But I had lots of issues with my supercharger belt, even with my S14. So we'll see. Maybe the luck is gonna my bad luck is gonna stay with the S14, and I'm gonna have new luck with the Corvette. I'm really hoping for that.
Right.
But we did change the whole routing pulley. We went with the LS6 concept pulleys, and I'm hoping it's gonna work better because we've seen this setup on other guys in Formula Drift in Pro. So
exactly, yeah. Because that was one of my questions is how do you handle blowers in that? And I mean, like you said, notching it out and then running Josiah's, I think steering rack's gonna help a ton. Here's another question, I guess more about drifting in general, but when you were kind of getting into it, were there certain drivers that you kind of tried to pay attention to or learn from, or is there like a teacher, I guess, that kind of, because obviously you knew how to drive, but that doesn't teach you drifting necessarily, per se. Were any like people you looked up to, or just teachers for drifting for you?
Yeah. When I started drifting, it was really new to me. So my let's say my model, they were more the Quebec drivers, because they were the guy close to me that I was able to look up to and see what they do with their car, So Kevin Morin is actually a really good friend of mine now, and we battle together all the time. But 7 years ago, it was my first time in the drift car, and he was already champion. So I looked up to him a lot, see how he drives, and from this point, I think it was more like on YouTube and seat time, just seat time. I'm a big seat time guy. I have my Drift Academy to help people coming into drifting with 350Zs. So I'm trying to have as much seat time as possible with my 350Zs. And now we're going to have ice soon. So I'm actually preparing my tires, putting all the studs, like 300 studs per tires.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm also going to have my sim soon. So I'm really, really focusing on seat time and preparing myself for that. But if I have to mention drivers in Formula Drift, probably that when I started, it was my first time, because when I show up to my first pro spec Formula Drift, it was my first time of my life going to a Formula Drift event. I've never attended a Formula Drift event before. So it was really Frederick Asbo, because I was like, this guy is just so consistent, and for me, consistency is key in everything. And it was like, he is so impressive in how consistent he can be. And he is also the driver that made me start drifting on ice, because he is doing drifting on ice. I think it's
with the Supra up there in Norway.
Norway, exactly. So when I saw him do this for the first time, this is when I said like, oh, I need to do this. So I think I really look up to him. But now that I'm going against these guys, I think that I'm trying to be a mix of Frederick and probably like Chelstenhofer, a mix
Yeah.
of like more aggressive, more reckless, but being reckless consistently,
Yeah.
being
Yep.
reckless all the time the same. So I'm trying to mix my driving and having my own style because I want to, as I said, I don't have a big budget, so I need to stand out from the crowd. So I cannot just like play it too safe. I need to be a little bit more spectacular, I think, because
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
what's gonna help allow me to stay in the game.
Gotcha. Interesting. We got a question from Mellow RTR. Any ideas on livery for next year? Colors or anything? Obviously, you don't need to tell us what the livery is, but you got at least some colors picked out?
Yeah, so I talked a lot with my team. We went from red to pink to yellow to orange to purple, a little bit of green because of FDF. So
Yeah.
basically, we thought of every color on the market multiple times.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh no.
Oh no, that happens. I
he'll
thought it
come
was gonna
back.
be Herbie again.
Yeah,
He was just
Herbie's.
about to tell us the color.
Yeah, I know.
He's back. You're good.
Hello.
what did
Yeah.
I touch something or?
Oh
No,
no,
it's
it's
just
okay.
it's live streaming. It just happens. It just didn't like you for
Yeah.
some reason. It's like, oh, get him out of here.
Normally.
Okay,
Uh,
so you were like running through every single color on the color wheel.
oh
Where did
yeah,
you settle?
we didn't yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. I gotta be honest. I think we're gonna go because I really wanted to stay. I'm changing my car, and I don't want to like go for like, let's say pink, and everybody's like a new C7 pink. Like who is this?
Mhm.
Because people know me, but they don't know me in pro. I'm not
Yeah.
like a big name coming in pro. So I want to make sure that people recognize me at first, and after I can make bigger change. So I'm gonna keep red on my car because that's I think my color,
Yep.
and we're probably gonna add some like funky colors because I like when it's funky.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But
even the S15, you had a little like green highlights on, like the lips and stuff. So like you like to do the little splashes here and there. But I've always felt your livery was very race car-y, if that makes sense. It wasn't
yeah,
like
yeah,
wasn't like your flames or your chrome.
yeah.
It was very race car.
Like I'm going more with, let's say with the US, like more USA than Japan style, let's say.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Exactly.
fair enough.
but
Yeah.
but I like the chrome. I really like the chrome though.
Okay. There you go.
Like this is a promise that the red on my car is gonna be chrome, that's for sure. Like
All right. All
Diego
right.
Diego I
Yeah.
love this car last year. Yeah.
That
Oh, the
was
red.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the red on this car.
Yeah, that
Like I
was.
don't know for you guys as media, like if it's good for
I
when you
loved
take.
it.
It's
But
so
like
good.
when you're
Yeah.
in the stands, like you get blinded by the car. This is sick.
It was so good. One of my favorites was actually Rad Dan used to have some blue chrome in some of his deliveries,
Yeah.
and it was always fantastic. We did get a question from Celine Drift. Good to see you, buddy. Running any gamblers this year? And I'm sure that's going to be a tall ask for you.
Yeah.
Given the
Um,
8 events that you're already doing.
so if I'm doing a gambler events, it's gonna be with my practice car because
Yeah.
I wanted to do some events with my practice car last year, and I got let's say denied or refused because I don't have any roll cage yet. So this winter we're putting a roll cage in my practice car,
Yeah.
and we're putting like everything in solid bushing, stuff like this. So basically, it's gonna become a really heavy pro am car. So I'm probably gonna do a like gambler with this car. Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
that'd be
I'm
cool.
excited to see you there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, my favorite thing is always seeing just like your higher level drivers in these lower horsepower cars and then just dooring everyone. So
Yeah.
it's always good to see.
Yeah. The only problem with that, because it makes me think of like at LZ World Tour, Chelstenova,
Yep.
he had his Fox Buddy so light that he was able to door everybody. So that's the only issue with my practice C7. I think it's so heavy that it's gonna be hard to follow to door people with small tires. But like I don't know. I'm such a fan of Corvette. I want to get rid of like the whole interior, and I want to get rid of my radio. I think it's so cool to have like it's the first time I have a car that the Bluetooth radio everything works in the car. I could literally like remove the stickers and go like at the grocery store, take ice cream over there. It's crazy. I love it. So I don't really want to remove weight from the car.
Right. Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, there's people that make it work, although like a guy like Dirk Stratton, he still makes like 700 horsepower, but like he still's got interior in his car. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's got the full interior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see like the weight of my competition C7 because like we literally thought of every parts on the car. Like I don't know if you saw it, but like my whole body kit is custom made by custom carbon creation. Everything is in carbon, but a layer of Kevlar inside, so it's solid and lightweight, and like everything we thought of. Like I'm a bit paranoid sometimes. I put I removed my wing, my rear wing, and I just hole saw the as much hole as I can into the wing, so I can remove little parts of plastics, and I put back the external layer after that, so you don't see that there's like a bunch of holes, but there is like probably 100 holes in my rear wing. So I'm really trying to put like everything as lightweight as possible. So I'm quite excited to see like how it's gonna turn out. Is it gonna be too lightweight? Maybe, but we'll see.
Yeah, as I can see, sick. Yeah, I pulled it up here. This thing, it looks fantastic.
Yeah,
thank you.
Oh, I know that guy.
Yeah.
So here's the factory car.
That's my practice car. Everything running. We put the chrome window tint on it. Yep. Like this car, I love it. It's heavy, but it's sick.
It's fantastic.
Big chrome guy.
It will be perfect for like drift week.
Yeah.
Like I don't see where I can have time to do drift week, but like if I can, that would be the perfect car for drift week.
100%. We got a question.
More. Yeah, how hard are the logistics being home based in Canada? Like, so since you want to do drift week, but driving in the U.S. Back when FD ran in Canada, a lot of teams had issues with the border crossing requirements. That was from Joe Ludwig.
So border crossing is not an issue anymore. We had some issues when it was COVID time, because I did my first season in Pro Spec. It was like the year of COVID, so it was really hard to cross. We had to bought like permits and stuff like this, and we got stuck at the border so many times. But nowadays it's really easy for us. But like as soon as we cross, we just lost 40% of our money. We need to remember that. So it's it's very expensive, for all the logistics, because like our Canadian dollars worth nothing in the US. So we really need to think about that, for just tires, hotel, fuel, all that stuff. But I think we managed to do well. And since I had my season with the M-Spec guys, M-Spec team, I think I really found myself in a better situation when I can bring back my car home and have control on my stuff. So I'm willing to put the extra money just to bring the car back home and make all the adjustments, go to my local track, try the car, and make sure that when I leave for the track, I'm 100% ready.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
Feels like definitely don't make the car more competitive if you come back to the gambler, because he drives in it.
Phil, don't you want to drive with the best?
Yeah, you're only as good as your competition.
Yeah. So we did get another question is if the where is it? Oh, the real question, yes, Despy. The real question is if the chassis will be too low to backflip off of. Backflip off a Corvette.
I love it. That's awesome. I actually looked at the roof. I was like, is this roof solid enough? And it is. It is. I'm a bit scared to like walk in the middle, but like let's be honest. If I do a backflip and I walk in the middle of the roof and I do another backflip, that's because like I did a podium in
Yeah.
pro. So
Mhm.
like
Okay.
maybe it's
All right.
gonna be soon, but like this year, if I'm doing like a top 8, I'm backflip. I'm doing the backflip because like top 8 for me is a win.
Heck yeah. Love that.
All right, we got another question from Mello. He asked, "How did crafting your pro spec program go, and how is this season's program looking?" So I guess you want to. Is there any comparing and contrasting, or are you just using a lot of what you did in pro spec to kind of with your program for this year?
So every race, it's like small details, but like every race, when somebody came to the trailer and asked, like, "Hey guys, do you have this? We need this." And if I said, "Oh no, we don't have it," I write it down, and I'm like, "Oh, we need this." So I use like everybody like information for to improve my program, you know. So like every time I'm like, "Oh, we don't have this, let's write it down, and for the next round we need it." So I think going in pro is all about being prepared. So we're really gonna show up there with like everything as spare, everything that we might think that we would need. And that's why I also changed my trailer this year. I had like a super nice looking 2023 trailer. It was brand new, but it was 28 feet. And I was like, this won't work. We need a bigger trailer. So I sold it and I bought like a 2010 trailer. So an older one, but a 40 foot gooseneck. So now we have like more space. We're gonna have like basically another car in the trailer. So another engine, transmission, diff, drive shaft, axles, angle kit, grip kit, everything that you can think of, we're gonna have it in spare. And I think that's one of the most important thing we need in pro, because like I see just the guys driving behind you, and like we are quite reckless, you know. We cannot think of like the budget. We cannot think of like, oh, is it gonna be bad for my wheels? Is it gonna be bad for my car? No.
Yeah.
Like these guys are crazy, and I need to put myself in this mood too. Like I need to be as crazy as them or more.
Yeah, we were talking to Andy Haitley, and he said one of the biggest changes, he said, jumping from pro spec to pro was you get hit every round, no matter what.
Yeah.
You just get hit.
Yeah.
Because everyone is
exactly.
driving at 10 tenths, and all you have to do is brake a little early, or just do something, and then they're gonna hit you. Like, and that's just normal, like in Pro 1. So it's like he said that was just one of those things where it's like you have to, not only do you have to have the spare parts, but you have to be efficiently be able to fix it as well. That's the other thing, because like you're gonna hit someone and then possibly like bend a tie rod or something. Well, you still got an hour and a half left to practice, so how fast can you switch that out to make sure you don't miss too many practice runs?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's what we are working on right now. Like just by example, my S14s swapping the engine was probably like 2 hours and a half, and now the Corvette we built everything so we can swap the engine like under like probably an hour and 15 minutes. So just the wiring, everything is gonna be like a quick connect plug. Everything is gonna be super quick. We're gonna have 2 wiring for each engines. So it's all about like being prepared in the off season, which is now. So that's why right now we are consistently working in like a sprint, because like we don't have time off. We didn't really get like the off season vibe here.
Right.
So-
Yeah.
Well,
No, it was just
I mean-
a long continuation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, I mean, it sounds like you got one of your buddies in the chat already. He's, hey Tommy, are you coming to ice drifting this weekend?
Yeah, so actually one of my friends, probably him, told me that Saturday we have ice drifting, so I'm probably gonna have to like rim my tires quick and go with my 350Z.
Yeah. Phil
Oh, yeah.
asks, what track are you most excited to drive? Is the only track you haven't driven yet Long Beach?
No. There's a Seattle I didn't do.
Okay.
There's well, which one are the others? I
It
think
was
that's
Long
it.
Beach,
Orlando.
Seattle, Orlando.
No,
Orlando, he did. Yep.
Yeah, you drove
Orlando,
Orlando?
I did. Yeah, Atlanta, I won the first round.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think I made all of them. The one I was looking forward to is Irwindale. So it's obviously not gonna happen anymore. But I've seen Seattle on YouTube, and it looks sick. Like this track, the first corner is just like
Let me just
floor.
tell you, the Seattle is where drivers are really separated on entry. Are
Yeah,
you able to do it without a handbrake?
for
Are
sure.
you man enough to do it without a handbrake? Because
Yeah,
that is where you get cojones is in Seattle on entry.
yeah. I didn't even think of like initiating with the handbrake.
Yeah,
Like
no.
even in Irwindale, like I always initiated without the handbrake.
Drive
And
down and then flick up a little.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's why I'm really looking forward to this track. And I think the one I'm the least looking forward it's Long Beach.
Yeah. There's
Because
only a couple
Man,
walls to hit there.
I
this
can't wait to see you there.
this track
It's gonna be
is
so
like a driver eater. Like it's just gonna destroy my car, and I know it. But I'm like, all right, let's go. So
I can't say this.
Because like the hardest part I feel like is the fact that you guys aren't even driving on a road, it's a parking lot. So
Yeah.
like every time I go there, it seems like conditions are always different for drivers, and they're always like the first session is always everyone just trying to figure out what the track conditions are, and then they change throughout the entire week there. So it's like Long Beach is always. I always wish Long Beach was like the last round of the year, because then like
Damn, yeah.
like everyone would be okay with destroying their cars. But unfortunately, it's like, welcome to Long Beach. Now, hopefully you don't destroy your car, and if you do, you're in for a world of hurt. I mean, we saw that with Mike Power this year. Smashed his car and
Ruby
destroyed
Hansen.
a lot of his season because of it.
Yeah. That's a real bummer, and that's why I'm not looking forward to this track. But at the same time, I think it's gonna be a good learning experience for me to show up there, and it's another thing that's gonna remove the pressure on myself. I'm like, this track is like you don't have seat time on this track. You know, it's a track that you do once a year. It's gonna be my first time against drivers that I've seen some videos from Formula Drift, like back in 2014, 13. They were there driving on the same track.
Yeah.
So honestly, I'm just going there and trying not to destroy the car. Maybe trying to like kick the bumper a couple of times. That would be cool. Maybe not the front. We'll see. It's funny because my the guy who built my carbon Kevlar parts, he goes so much in the details. You know, he's like, this needs to be perfect, and I'm like, Mathieu, careful, man. This is not a show car. It's the car I'm gonna put in the wall. And so every time he send me a video of like a new parts, now we just finished the hood.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning, I'm going 3 hours drive over there to get it, and I'm like, oh, that's an awesome part. I can't wait to smash it into the wall. So yeah, it's just like the way I'm trying to put it. So it removes the pressure on everybody.
Yeah, no,
That's awesome.
I mean, obviously that's what the Sim's for, that you're getting, is so that you can drive that track and at least get some basic understanding of your points that you need to drive to, because it's a blind entry. So welcome to FD. Now enter into this corner you can't see, and good luck, you know. And
Yep. Mello says you got the sim room. Me and Brandon got you.
there you
Yeah,
go.
He's talking about Gardner. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll follow fourth. I'll T-bone y'all. That's all good.
No, that's awesome.
That's Broken Tie Rod Simulator.
Broken Tie Rod Simulator.
That's good.
I know we weren't necessarily talking about the CF7, but it was a thought I had that I want to come back to. What trans are you running? Are you doing front mount or okay, so you are doing the front mount trans thing. Okay.
Yeah, exact. So I'm not really a fan of the torque tube. I think it's like
Well, we've seen it be an issue for Matt Field many times. Yes.
yeah, exactly. First of all, like if you want a good setup, it's like 45 grand just for like the transmission, torque tube, and differential all in one.
Mhm.
This is really expensive for nothing. And I don't know about the weight. Obviously, like people that are fans, like probably Dirk
Mhm.
Stratton, probably thinks that the weight is better with the torque tube. But for myself, I'm just going with like if you break it, can you change
Yep.
it
Mhm.
quickly? And the answer I think will be like better with the GSR dog box. We already have like a spare drive shaft
Yeah.
in my garage. The winter quick change is so easy to work on. So I think it was the well, on my opinion, it was the way to go. But I respect like everybody that wants to
Mhm.
keep the torque tube for sure.
Yeah, it always seems to be just an interesting debate that I've seen a lot of, but like it's definitely the cheaper route or more affordable route to go move the gearbox up, and like you said, serviceability and everything. So it, it's hard to justify that just for maybe a little bit of a weight proportions, maybe better. You know, it's hard to
Right.
justify that, you know, for that much money.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
is
In
there?
the chat,
Oh,
sorry,
keep
go ahead.
going. No, you're good. Keep on rolling.
In the chat, there was some speculation as to the final round. Do we want to get into that?
What's the speculation?
Oh,
I think
yeah.
they were discussing track possibilities for replacing Irwindale. Is there anywhere that you would like to see jump in and take that spot?
Well, is Laguna Seca close to SoCal, or is it in the option? I don't know. If it is, I want to go there.
Yeah.
That would
I
be sick. I don't know if they have the fan capacity. I don't know if they'd be able to have the like a big enough bleachers or enough fans to fill that. Or I'm sorry, other way around.
At least like where the course would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
exactly.
mean that track definitely has the good spectator spots because it is
Right.
such a profound and sought after course.
Yeah.
It's
I
definitely
would
up
love
there.
that. I think it'd be sick. I
Yeah,
just don't know if the logistics are there for that track.
yeah. In my opinion, like if you ask me like what kind of track you want, I would just say like a fast track, no handbrake initiation, something like pinned to the floor, like probably Utah before you
Utah.
change the layout and fuck this up. But yeah,
Dude, no one is ever happy at Utah, it seems. Even people that
Yeah.
liked the second layout better, they still didn't like it. You know, like they're like
yeah.
it's such
It
a
just sucks because it is pretty.
It's a
That
great
is the
spot.
thing. Like it is such a pretty like a pretty track. We're
and I feel
done
like once you get
early.
going, it's fun, you know. But
Yeah,
it's
but
like
I mean,
You
like the
you
layout we
can't see
had was
shit.
perfect.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
The first
the
layout was
first one.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like super fast. You like you have one chance, like a 50-50 chance to hit the guy at the initiation because like we are so fast. You know, you want to hit the inner clip.
Yep.
That was fun. That was
Yeah.
really cool.
And then you have like one muscle memory point where you're cutting through that like the sun and the smoke
Yeah,
on
exactly.
that second or well really your first transition.
Yeah, and like let's be honest. Like I don't want to disrespect anybody, but like when you built a racetrack, you built it with a certain like geometry curves where you put
Mhm.
the
Apexes and everything.
apexes and the I have vibrating, but that's not it. That's
Rumble strips.
the rumble strip. Yeah, exactly. Where you
Mhm.
put the rumble strip. So this is designed to go there. So why do you like change everything? Try to go off track, come back on track, and all that stuff. Like I know we are not doing road racing, but like you design a racetrack, and we are motorsports. So
Yeah.
let's stay in the
Stay
rumble
within
strip,
the
you know?
track limits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's
Yes.
stay within
Yeah.
the track exactly.
Yeah.
But like
You're
that's
exceeding the track limits.
but like that's
It,
something I will say in the podcast.
2 second
That's
penalty.
something I will say like at the driver meeting. Like
Right.
if they say like put two wheels off track in the driver meeting, I will be like, all right, I will try to do this.
Right.
I will never like complain. But now that
Mhm.
we are off season and we are just talking about it, I'm like, this is a bit stupid, you know. Like, let's be
Yeah.
honest. Like,
Yeah.
ask what's his name? Sorry, BMW arranged. He went from road racing to
Oh, Thorn.
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 Thorn, yeah, Robert Thorn. Like, ask
Yep.
him, like in road racing, like
Yeah.
you need to put like your four wheels off track the rainbow strip to complete the lap. He was that's stupid. That's not how it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that sounds like him.
I
Uh,
think it's a great point, and it's pretty straightforward. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. I mean, there were plenty of complaints with the first way that they kind of had it too, but it's like you just got to figure it out. I think I think the fact that there's no wall there, and so like everyone's like the visuals aren't great.
Mhm.
That people that aren't used to driving on tracks really struggle. Like obviously you're a track guy, it's not a big deal for you, but like for a lot of drivers, especially ones that just went straight drifting and they're doing like oval tracks and like little kart tracks and stuff, like they're not used to driving on road courses, you know. So
Yeah.
it it I can see where the complaints come from, but you're right. Like it's also kind of separates people a little bit. And I think
But
and I feel like different tracks separates different people. Like I feel like New Jersey is a fun track to drive because it's usually someone different wins there, in pro at least. Like someone in pro
This
that
is your
you see,
time, buddy.
you know what I'm saying though. Like LZ won there. I think Rome did really
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
It just seems like Jersey is a track where it's a different it highlights a different set of drivers than say like a track like a Seattle or even an Irwindale where they're big bank tracks, and it
Yep.
really benefits maybe a certain type of car but more there.
He's got enough laps at Jersey. That's without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I love Jersey, but I really don't think it's a track that advantage me as a driver,
Okay.
because like this is a small track, technical track, and I like to be on the technical tracks, but I I think that like in drifting, you have the parts where you need to be technical and the
Mhm.
parts where you need to show that you have, sorry for my language barrier, but you need to show that you have big balls. Let's
Right.
say.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you're like at Jersey, well, you only can show that you are technical. But if you are like in a big technical track, you can show you're technical and you can show that you have big balls and
Yeah.
you are willing to initiate without the handbrake,
Right.
He's
'Cause-
excited for Seattle. He's ready.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations,
Yeah,
he's
that,
ready.
yeah.
I've never tried it yet, but I'm ready for it. I'm looking
I,
forward
Yeah.
I
Well,
struggle so hard on a Seto on
You're
that
the right
track.
mindset.
well, I mean, the fun part is like Seattle. Okay, once you get the entry down, okay, good luck. Now you have to figure out how to slow down.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's the thing. You add more like stuff to show on the whole thing when it's a technical track. Like let's say when we did the road course at the Gambler,
Yeah.
it was
Mhm.
like right, left, right, left, right, left, always on the same at the same speed. So it's awesome, but it doesn't practice you like on all the like technicalities of drifting.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're
Yeah.
in a fast track, like if you need to keep proximity while decelerating, that's a lot of work to do. But I think that's cool.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I agree.
That's why Seattle's so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phil asked, do you think there are certain cars that are better on certain tracks? If so, can you give an example?
Well, I will start with the weight of the car. Obviously, if you take like a big heavy car, let's say the Mustangs, I think they're going to be in a better way for Seattle and place like this. If you take like a E30, it's going to be better. I would say like for small tracks because it's a lighter car and also based on the wheelbase. But I think that's something people already know. But
No, that's
yeah,
true.
I will say it's all about the weight, because even if you have like a let's say a big car like the Corvette, if my Corvette weighs like 2,600 pounds, it's going to be just like a Miata, you know.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
going to be like super fast on small tracks. Maybe not as fast and as stable on the big tracks with big corners.
Mhm.
So I think you need to play with that. That's
Yeah.
something I mentioned with my team. If it will be a good idea to like have the weights on the car, so
Mhm.
I can run like the 295s on big tracks, and we remove the weights and we run the 275 on small tracks. You know, but
It's been actually a couple drivers have kind of thought about doing something similar. Like I think Odie might be building an entirely new car just for that kind of
yeah,
lighter
exactly.
stuff, you know.
Yeah, Odi is the perfect example with
Mhm.
the like when he went NA to 255 tires, and I'm pretty sure he knows more what he's doing than us. So
Right. Well, I mean, you can also do it with or not, well, like suspension and steering setup. Like you can make your car snappy or less snappy as well,
yeah,
with
yeah,
that kind of stuff too. And I guess we can kind of talk a little bit about it. I mean, you're not going to know with the Corvette yet, but I mean, I guess you can know whether or not how snappy it's going to be and stuff like that. But I mean, do you usually change the setup a lot in between tracks, depending on like let's say you're driving Jersey and then you drive Utah? Are they totally different like
yeah,
suspension setups for that kind of stuff, or is it or
yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, we changed a lot of the setups. I think for myself, the only thing that we don't really change is the power of the car,
Yeah.
because we don't have like a boost that you can control with
Mhm.
the, let's say, like a turbo.
Yeah.
So once we have the power, like let's say 1,000 horsepower,
Yep.
we keep it like that for the whole year, and we have
Mhm.
one other pulley for it if it's raining.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's like the thing, we keep it really always the same. For setup though, it's like always different spring rates, even
Mhm.
like we have different suspension. Well, when I say that, I'm talking about the S14 obviously,
Mhm.
because I didn't
Mhm.
try the Corvette yet.
Right.
But like even like spring rates we have for like this specific tracks,
Mhm.
specific tracks. So it's really two different cars. And if I feel like if I keep my setup for one track and I go to the other track, I will just go and say like this car is undrivable. It's
Really?
shit.
Yeah, it's
So yeah,
that noticeable.
yeah, it's that big. Yeah.
That's crazy. Uh,
Don't.
I this is actually a question that I had. Is there a track that's kind of like a hidden gem in Canada, or like a track that everyone should go and like either drive or check out one in Canada?
Yeah. Well, I don't know how to say it in English, but when you preach for your church, let's say,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I'm coming from ICAR, so where we had the LZ World Tour.
Yep.
So I will say like this is a really fun track to go
Hmm.
if there's like an happening over there,
Yeah.
like the GDM Fest or
Oh yeah.
the whatever fest we have over there, because we have so many festival over there
Yeah.
about cars. But like if I want to be honest, if you need to see and drive on a track, it's Saint Croix. Saint Croix is
Okay.
the nicest track, and in my opinion, it's like on the side of the big river that we have in Montreal
Yeah.
that goes into the ocean after that, and so the view is just awesome. And when
Really.
you're on track, you can initiate like in the MCC, we initiate at like 165 kilometers per hour, 170 kilometers per hour, which is I don't know in
Probably what
That's fair
70
enough.
and be
It's
70,
fast.
80 probably.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Fast.
It's quite fast, and once you initiate, it's like big banks, and if you drop a tire, you can actually just like go down and smash your car.
Yeah.
And Kevin Morin is the best example for that. Sorry, Kevin, but like he did put a wheel out, and he did like
Yep.
multiple flips
Hmm.
after that. You probably saw it. So this
Yep.
is crazy, and this is like exciting. And you can drive the track the whole time with the floor pins to the pedal pins to the floor. So I think it's really awesome. And when we have like drift days over there, it's like free for all. You can initiate at like 210 kilometers, 200, because you can just start from way back there.
Hmm.
So it is a nice track to go
That's
if you like
cool.
to go fast.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Phil asks, is it easy to go from the USA to drive in Canada, and I don't actually
Well,
know if they. So like, if you go from the U.S. to Canada to drive.
Well, I think it's probably the same as when it's
Hmm.
Canada to US, right? I think the main reason, and I'm just speculating here, but I think the
Yeah.
main reason why they stopped coming is because the companies that sponsored in the US, they were not really interested in like advertising in the Canada back in
Yeah.
the days when we had Formula Drift, and also I think some of the drivers they were not able to cross the borders because of like records.
Really? Okay.
Like criminals.
Yeah, criminals records and stuff like this with
Hmm.
the team, you know. So I think it was just easier for everybody to stay in the US for them. But
Yeah.
no, honestly, like I can cross the border with my car that has no paper on it because
Hmm.
it's just a race car, and
Right.
every time they're like, "Good luck, man, have fun." So it's
That's
honestly
cool.
kind of fun. It's just the big difference with the money, you know, the
Hmm.
US dollar versus the
Yeah.
Canadian dollar. That hurts a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. And they don't really change the prices much in between. Like, does it? Not really. No.
It's just like a brick wall. I'm sure right as you
Yeah.
cross the border, it's probably the worst thing ever. It's
Yeah.
probably even skyrocketed higher because they know it's like, damn, all right, we can get some of these folks.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got
Alrighty.
your one buddy saying Autodrome Lanaudière.
Autodrome La Naudière. Well, Autodrome La Naudière, if you mention it right, this is not a track where we go in the summer. This is a track that we use only in the winter. They are awesome people over there. They work like their asses off to
Hmm.
build like ice on the track. So they go
What?
with the
Oh
truck with
wow.
the big water tanks, and
Yeah,
they
they just
just
spray it on there like an ice
yeah,
rink.
exactly. They spray water on the track. They are so like dedicated to the like building the track. This is awesome. Every year they invite me, and they are like super cool people. But I think in the summer it's like a dirt track, so we cannot go there.
Interesting. Phil asks, what tire brands are available in Canada? Is it
For
different than
drifting,
America? Yeah.
I think the acceleras are quite hard to get because
Really?
a good buddy of mine is doing a grassroots, and he said like he wanted acceleras because
Hmm.
obviously they last forever,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
it was quite hard to get them. Same for Kenda, I think,
Really?
but
Mm,
yeah, but
dang.
we have like other tires that are not like available in the US that works for us.
Okay.
But I think in the US, the companies are more willing to develop a tire specifically for grassroots drifting than for us in Canada. It's just like
Whatever you can
you
get your
gotta,
hands on, kind of.
yeah, exactly.
That's a good
Gotcha.
question. What would you, Selena asks, what would you like to see FT do more of?
Hard question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big.
It's such a vague question. It's like,
Yeah, it could be anything. Could be like, like top 16
I know
intro,
Sarah
different
wants more
things, or
Umbrella Girls.
yeah, Sarah
Yeah,
wants the
right.
umbrella girls.
I want more female drivers, dorks.
Yeah, exactly. Female drivers. My girlfriend wouldn't be proud if I say more umbrella girls.
Smart man.
Yeah, exactly.
Smart guy.
But no, I think well, I like okay. I don't want to critique what they do, but
Right.
I kind of like the qualification, the old way
Oh,
that we
yeah.
did
Hmm.
qualification, because like I feel like if you have one bad luck, you can get stuck in the loop of
Yep.
like difficulties and
Hmm.
never get out of it. You know,
Yep.
When back in like 2 years ago, you can do a mistake, you go to the next round, you do a crazy qualification, and you're back in the game.
Yep.
And I think that was something I was good at. Do a good
Hmm.
qualification run to put myself in a better situation. Now, because I'm a rookie, I start with a disadvantage from
Yep.
point zero, and I
Hmm.
have to get out of the mud. So it's a bit. It's going to be a bigger challenge, I think.
You make a good
Yeah.
point because,
Yeah, especially you just proved yourself all last season, and now you have to now just dig yourself out of a hole that really doesn't necessarily need to exist.
Yeah,
Like you said, if they just revert back to the old qualifying, I know a lot of drivers aren't really the biggest fans of it. I know obviously from the spectator standpoint, it is a lot more exciting to see. But like the stress on everybody else, ultimately, it is a lot. And then like, going back to it, like the one of the most viewed videos still is like Vaughn's qualifying or Byron or whatever at Atlanta, where
Yeah.
he doesn't lift like at all.
At all.
Like that
Yeah.
shit was sick, Like,
Yeah.
like that was cool. So
Yeah.
like solo runs can still be cool. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
everybody, just do good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just it is tough, and like I feel like you guys get, because of the seating bracket though, you guys now get more practice, so it's like it's a bunch of hit or miss things. But I get that it's not completely fair, which is the hardest part, of the whole system, because I like battles. I want more battles. I wish if like instead of maybe doing a seating bracket, you guys do a losers bracket, like that'd be kind of fun. So you had to lose twice, like that could
Yeah.
be a different way of doing it. But
Yeah, I liked the shootout method that we used for like the Maple Leaf shootout back with Josiah.
yeah,
I know they probably use that method for other championship, but
hmm
it was quite cool because you are allowed to lose once and
hmm
still win the event,
Yep.
which is kind of cool because back when I was in road racing,
hmm
you can like you have a 50 laps race. You
hmm
can do like a mistake at lap 25
right,
and still
Yep.
win the race. You
Yep.
can
Mhm.
do a mistake like whenever you want and try
hmm
to fix it
right,
and still win. In drifting, even if you're the best, if you do
hmm
one little mistake or the guy in front of you do one weird thing, you lose. I think it's sometimes it's a bummer because
hmm
it doesn't allow us to show like all the potential that we have.
hmm
And it's the perfect example. Back when I got my prospect license, I lost in like top 8 against Briggs,
yeah,
and I was like, shoot, I lost. And I go to the trailer and I'm like, all right, guys, like let's drink beers. And they're like, no, you're going again, and you're going in the loser bracket. I'm like, oh shit, that's cool. I go in
hmm
the loser brackets, I win every battle. I go back into the final against Dave Briggs.
hmm
I win the battle, and I need to rebattle him
yep,
because I had to
Yeah,
like
he had to go
come
into. He technically had a L still. Yep.
back. I had
I
to
think.
to
Yeah, I
beat.
think U.S. Drift has done that before too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So I had to beat him twice,
hmm
and I was like, This is sick. Like you are allowed to make a mistake, and you can still win the event. This is cool. That
That's
would
Yeah.
be
great.
Formula Drift.
Oh, I agree, and that I mean that might be a solution, just because like we want battles. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know Herbie loves some qualifying. I
Well,
get
it's nice.
bored out of my mind in qualifying. Okay.
I like the thing with like I do like qualifying, but overall I do personally as a media man, I like the seating brackets better too because, like shooting for some of my best friends, like it's nice to like if they don't make it on, at least I get one battle to signify that they competed, It's like here's their competition run,
Yeah.
It's like
Instead of
Right.
not qualifying, it's like.
right,
hmm
yeah.
Right.
They lost at a competition like, fair and square, but like ones are easier for somebody to showcase what their talents truly are.
exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas like, like say you're following a dude that's just all over the place in the lead, but yet they don't call it that it's his fault for some reason, and now you get dinged because you're like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah.
And now you're at like this disadvantage, and you put on this like heater, but then you spin at the end because you're so pissed at this dude that was in the lead. Like that sucks, dude. Like that
Right.
just sucks.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you had two chances as a regular qualifying run, you it just would have been free air. It's just open air, just do you, be who you are, and then see the score. And like that is strictly up to you. That score is up to you. Nobody else, nothing else except for Mother Nature. Like that's it.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, We are getting to that time of the show, and it's one of my favorite parts of the show. And the problem is you're such a squeaky clean guy, so I don't know if you've ever had any run-ins with him. But
What?
it's the time for the show. Or my question is, do you have any Andy Luck stories?
Of course he has, dude. He's probably been fucking pulled to the side for his backflips. Like, you better not do that on that.
So I had someone like arguing about this, but it wasn't Andy Luck though.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was like another team
Mhm.
about an old story that it was quite similar, but it didn't turn out well. But like, for the ones who knows, they knows, and for the ones who don't, well, you don't.
Yeah.
But but yeah, so every time I do a backflip, I am super careful now.
Mhm,
Now because
obviously.
of that, I'm like,
Mhm.
all right, is there anybody behind me? No, all right, everybody, watch out. Okay, I'm doing it. So I'm
Mhm.
thinking a bit more before I do it. But no, I think it's funny because Andy Luke, everybody like are afraid of him, and like I remember my first year when we were at the banquet at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yep.
I finished, I think, third in the championship. Yeah, exactly. Was it this? Yeah, I think it was this year. And he said to me like, I hope you're gonna keep doing what you do, you know, because I see that you can win this championship one day. And I was like, oh
Right.
wow, that's great, because like is the kind of guy who always gonna like try to push you down, but in the friendly way, let's say.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Tough love.
yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh wow, this is this is like straight to the heart. And it's funny because this year when I won the championship, I went to see him at the banquet, and I said, I don't know if you remember it, but you told me that I can win this championship one day, and I did it. And it was super cool. But
That's sweet.
yeah, but like I think I never really, well, obviously the normal shit that you eat for, but like I did receive like one fine once. It was in St. Louis because when you do the U-turn before it goes to the straight line, like if
Yeah.
you do it too quick, you spin like normal drift
Yeah.
car, and they were
Yeah.
so mad at me. Like even Kevin Wells, they were like, "Yeah, you cannot do that anymore." Nah, nah, nah. They were
Really? I didn't know that. I always thought, like, every time I would watch somebody do a slow turn, I'm like, why are they taking so long?
Yeah,
They would
exactly.
rip that-
So you cannot put marks on the track at this place,
Oh my
and it's
God.
funny because like he was like shouting at me, and I was so calm, and I was just like, yeah, oh sorry, yeah, sorry, all right, all right. And at the end, it was just like, all right, I'm done, and he went away. My team were like, oh, are you okay, man? I'm just like, yeah, yeah, all right. Next round, because I just won my battle, you know, so I
Right,
was
yeah,
so
yeah.
hyped. I was just like,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah,
No,
sorry, I did it.
yeah. No, it's true. I mean, like St. Louis is such a weird venue because they're so picky about the weirdest things. Like they decided to put up K rails this year because they didn't want you in the grass. So they thought
Yeah.
it would be better to flip the car over the K rail into the grass instead of just touching the
Well, they had
grass.
another series coming in the next week, and like they needed the grass to be pretty for that series or some
Yeah.
such thing.
Yeah. But at the same time, like I don't want to be the devil here, but like you said, some people, you know, in Utah, they don't like it because they don't see walls, they don't see nothing because it's like open track.
Mhm.
So people cannot complain for this and have to complain for St.
Right.
Louis with walls, you know.
It's a
Like,
good point.
Like honestly, I liked it without the walls, and I also liked it with the walls because it
Mhm.
allows you to just like, you know, put yourself into the wall, touch
Yeah.
it a bit, and
Mhm.
go back to the next one.
Yeah.
I think the worst part about St. Louis this year was just literally the end. Literally the end
Oh, yeah.
hook where it closed. It like turned into a
Yeah.
tight J.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
almost
Decreasing
closed
rate.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is
that
that?
doesn't make sense. That was like stupid. Yeah. We
Like,
agree on
alright,
that.
I won't spin around at where you're saying, but let me at least drop a tire on the rumble strip there,
Yeah.
dude. Like, we'll repaint it myself. Like,
Yeah, and I think it looked bad for the series because it looked like we were a second like a low level series, you know, like you
Yeah.
are so bad as Formula Drift series that we won't allow you to like use the course 100% because we have a better series coming next week. It looked like that in my opinion, and I
Yeah.
feel like
Right.
they should take it seriously. Formula Drift should be like, hey, we are important enough. We are like the second, you know, the stats. We are like the second highest series after NASCAR. So
Yeah,
you know,
and you know that the fans, at least some of the fans heard it because I'm sure not a lot of the drivers were making positive comments about the track that weekend. So like if you're
Hmm.
walking up into a pit space and they're just pissed about that,
yeah.
like it's like, damn, makes you wonder like what are they talking about? And they
Yeah.
tell their next guy and they're like, they're just talking at this track, just don't like us. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, man, it makes you think like what are we watching right now?
Hmm.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and it's, I mean, from Formula Drift's perspective, it's always, I'm sure they always get thrown curveballs all the time. I'm sure, if I remember correctly, they were not expecting to have issues like this when they came to the track in the first place, and then the track kind of sprung it on them last minute. But it's
Yeah.
like one of those things where you got to step up somewhere. But yeah, welcome to dealing with venues. It's I mean
Yeah.
that why do you think we don't go to Texas anymore? Um,
Yeah.
you know,
Whoa.
so somebody lost something.
Oh, my cat is just knocking shit off the
And you
table.
just
I'm
said
watching
it
it.
nonchalantly too.
Bro,
You
that's
didn't
another.
move
It's
it.
just another Tuesday for this house.
You
The man
kept
is
it
orange, and so he's a criminal. And it's time for crime. It's almost 10 o'clock. Time for crime.
You didn't move a single
Yeah,
inch.
exactly.
You just took that.
If it's important, I shouldn't have left it on the counter for him to yeet onto the floor. Oh, look, here he comes. Come on. See if he'll do some crime over here, buddy.
Do some crap over here.
Well, he's like,
Yeah, I know.
was
But
in-
we
that was
have almost
incredible.
hit the 2 hour mark. So again, I want
Yeah.
to thank you a ton, buddy, for coming on. It's always a good time seeing my fellow Canadian friends, and I'm glad that we have now another Canadian in the series. And I think you're going to do some damage. I think people are going to be surprised, and they're going to be like, "Who is this kid in some old man Corvette?" And he thinks he's going to do something out here, and I think it's going to be fun. But
Some midlife crisis out there.
I know, dude. I was like, does New
Yeah.
Balance make driving shoes? Like, come on now, let's
Dude, you
go.
might be able to hit a sponsorship up for that.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say you pull up with the jorts on, but you would definitely get an Andy Luck story after that.
yeah, he would seek you out for the
yeah.
shorts.
Well, thank you guys for having me. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
100%.
Thank you so much.
You got anything? Obviously, you got a bunch of cool stuff coming up. So, like, tell people what is coming up for you, and again, just reiterate where everyone can see everything at.
Yeah. Well, as I said, we are finishing the Corvette right now. So we are gonna announce a new tower sponsorship soon,
Sweet.
which was my. Yeah, you probably remember last year in every interview I did, I mentioned that I wanted the tire sponsor.
Yep.
So the fact that we made it happen, it's so unbelievable, and I'm incredibly happy about it. But yeah, the car is gonna be full of surprise. We're gonna test for 2 weeks in Florida, February.
I just
And
want to
after
say
that-
I love how you say Florida. It's fantastic. You're like Florida or something like that.
say it like
It's
that-
fantastic.
You say it like the rapper, like the Flo Rida. Yeah.
I love him there. It's fine.
Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, and after that, when we come back, we're gonna do the livery announcement with the new
Cool.
colors, and yeah, everything's gonna be on my Instagram. Lemaire.
Heck
Awesome.
yeah.
We're gonna have to keep an eye out. I'm gonna go watch your old interviews and see if I can guess the tire sponsor.
Oh.
That's funny. Herbie, Sarah, what do you guys got going on?
Oh, you know,
Just
nothing.
more S14 building. I know some of the questions I asked you tonight. Obviously, big S chassis fan over here, but also big Corvette guy. So kind of love everything that you're doing. So just some 240 stuff.
Good.
Nice.
Herbie, you gonna come loose in some more competitions soon?
I did. I signed up for 2.
Let's go.
Nice.
Yep. I figure you can't lose them all unless you sign up for them all.
You ain't wrong, brother.
I'm gonna keep on going until this Logitech gives out, baby.
There you go. Awesome. Yeah, maybe I'll do a little live stream with us trying to learn how to drive.
Dude,
We'll see.
Cool.
We'll see. Might do some streaming someday soon.
Nice.
Once I figure out
Exciting
everything.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pushing poor old Needs door in on his first go around. So.
It's a good time.
Yeah, which I mean, real quick though, getting into it, you are in your sim room, and you have a new sponsor that you can talk about.
Yeah. It's Advanced Sim. Yeah, company from here. Super proud because I've never had a sim for practice, and I think going into pro is gonna be a nice add to my program. So we're gonna have a nice sim right here in the middle.
Yeah.
Here. We're gonna put some helmets here so it looks good, and yeah, I'm gonna practice a ton for Long Beach and maybe tandem some of the people that listen now.
You gonna maybe see yourself into the virtual drift comp or championship down the road? Be one of those guys?
Probably, I don't know. Honestly, right now, I have no idea what I'm talking about Sims. But in 2 weeks, I'm gonna be like super committed to it.
Hell yeah, we'll catch you in 2 weeks then.
I feel honored every time I see Trenton Beecham online. Like if we're in a server, he sees me now. Like now that we've actually made acquaintances after this past season.
Yeah.
And he forces me to lead him all the time, and I'm like, damn. I'm like, I don't really know how this one's gonna go, dude. Like, it's gonna be pretty good. It's gonna be pretty bad. I don't really know.
Yeah. I do actually have to ask one question in the comments. Celine Drift asks Sarah, "Do you need a Mustang in your life? Is that true?"
So obviously, I love everything that has a V8 in it, and I have driven 550s and 650s, and they're pretty sweet. I don't know if I have the budget to make one a drift car though. I'm gonna be real with you guys. We're balling on a big budget over here.
Yeah, but shout out
was
actually
messaging that outside of your house and is about to drive through the side.
Heck yeah!
You need
Just
a
take me
Mustang
out,
in
dude.
your life? Yeah.
I'm having a rough week. I've seen enough. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, that actually just a quick current events thing that happened. Vaughn just released a car with Ford that's gonna be like RTR specific. He said it was turboed, so I'm gonna assume it's an EcoBoost Mustang, probably to make it cheaper. But it's pretty cool to see like an OEM is getting that involved with a drifter basically, where his company is literally helping launch a car with Ford. He said it was the first. It's the second company that Ford has like launched like a car with in like 40 years or something like that. So it's like it's a pretty big deal. If you guys haven't seen it, go check out Vaughn's Instagram as well. And people keep speculating that Fink might be driving RTR next year. I don't know if that's true or not. He did.
We're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah.
That's crazy, eh?
Yeah.
Like some people are like convinced, like deep down they really think it's gonna happen. And I don't know, man.
I mean, how many cars does Vaughn have? Maybe he's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna hand out a Mustang to you. I'm gonna hand one out to you. Just. But I mean, I don't know. It could be interesting. I don't see him as a Ford Mustang driver, but I could be wrong. Could be wrong.
I did guess the car that was right, left, right and drive that was leaving for New Zealand. Because as soon as they said, "Oh, it's leaving for New Zealand," I was like, "Hey." I remember when I went for the LZ World Tour in Australia, I met Jordan Sanderson.
Oh yeah.
And it was like he mentioned that he was like a big Mustang guy, but back at the time he had the Ute. When my Ute exploded because of the nitrous and the intake, I was like, oh shit, I'm done. And he was like, oh, take my second car, take my practice car. That what's his name, Chris Rudnick, crashed into the wall, and they just cut the rear, and it was like, okay, so you're gonna share your car with Chris gonna share with Tommy. So we actually did the qualifying together in the car. Well,
That's
it was really funny, but like I texted him and I was like, dude, you're getting an RTR car, huh? And I was like, ah, yeah, you know it, dude.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
That's
Awesome.
funny.
Well, again, thank you
Cool.
everyone for showing up in the chat. Thank you everyone for coming
love
here
you,
and
chat.
talking. And this was a fun one. I enjoyed it. And if you
Same.
guys had fun as well, be sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, I got a quick